Good afternoon, everyone. This is a strong webinar. I hope that I okay. There is some audiences waiting for us today. You can say hello or type something to let me know that you are there. Okay, this is very special session because normally we have webinar every month, but we normally conduct in Thai. But today, this is as I said that this is a very special session because we will conduct in English, and we have special guests. And our guest speaker today is very experienced and specialized in psychology. Let me introduce a little bit about the guest speaker today. But for like 18 to 20 people, you can say hi or say something, okay, to me. Okay, before we meet our guest speaker, I will introduce her a little bit. Her name is Kun Chakadi, or we can call her Dr. Gift. She graduated in bachelor degree in clinical psychology and master degree in psychology of individual differences from UK, and the second master degree in educational measurement and statistics, and doctorate degree in educational psychology. Wow. Her profile is not ordinary, I'm sure, and I'm sure that today she has a lot of like case studies and special tools for you to share to help you to help yourself in like I'm sure that some of you might be suffering from like stress at work, chronic stress, or job burnout. And me too. I think I'm suffering from job burnout a little bit. So today we will talk to her, and you can ask her real time. You can leave some message or leave some questions that you would like to know. And so I'm so excited today to meet her. So everyone, please welcome Dr. Kip or Dr. Shakadi. Okay. Good afternoon, Dr. Shakadi. สวัสดีค่ะ
Good afternoon. สวัสดีค่ะ Good afternoon,
So,
everyone.
so how are you doing?
Um, I am so excited to be here,
Okay.
and thank you for having me here.
Okay. Today we are going to talk about workplace resiliences, mindfulness hacks for modern workers, which is very interesting. So, please share your thoughts.
All right. So thank you, Van, for the great introduction. So today we are, yes, as Kunvan just mentioned, that we are going to talk about workplace resilience and how to build resilience by practicing mindfulness. That I believe that everyone would be able to do it to be able to practice it at your workplace or work setting. Um, so uh, I will just go over my slides one by one slowly. And if you have some questions, just feel free to pop it on chat, or you can rest it. You can rest up your hand and just interrupt me and ask question anytime that you want. So please feel free to do so. And Kun Van will also ask me some question, and um, so to make it kind of like moving. So I'm not going to talk alone in this situation. But anyway, feel free to ask any question. So let's start
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
explore. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
During this session, you can share a little bit about your if you are suffering from like stress or burnout, you can share us a little bit. You can share to let Dr. Shakadi know about your situation, including the some questions you can leave this session. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Kakun Van. It's true, indeed. I mean, I have several cases from corporate side of my clients that and most of them feeling burned out and also have some kind of thoughts about quitting the jobs. And so that's why I think work workplace resilience or mindfulness could be beneficial to everyone for now, because now it's in August, and usually people tend to get very busy during this time of the year because it's approaching at the end of the year and also the end of the like budget year or something. And so everyone is in a very fast pace, and because of the hyper connectivity society and world for now, so a lot of information, a lot of things that you need to do in one day, in an hour. And so I understand if you have some kind of like experiences, maybe more than I have shared, maybe you have done something better than I have, that I'm going to talk about. So please feel free to do so. And if you happen to be my cases, please also feel free to share as well. So I'll be happy to talk to you guys. Okay, I'm going to proceed to my talk today, that we are going to go over the work resilience. And honestly, I will focus more on the mindfulness thing, because I think this is something that it's talked about a lot in our culture now. And even though it's been here for like more than 2,000 years, but I think more than 2 decades, like very most recently, there are a lot of research that increasingly shown that being mindfulness or practicing mindfulness is very helpful in terms of reducing work stress and also life stress. So today we are going to talk about work stress and life stress for sure. How could they harm your body or your mental health? And also, we're going to talk a little bit about mindfulness, the definition of that, and we're going to share mindfulness tricks or tips to do it at home or to do it at your workplace. So it's going to be easy to implement at your work routine, in your routine, or somewhere maybe you just walk, you just sit, or you have a meeting. You can do it in a very like into your lifestyle. It's going to be easy to implement. So let's first jump into work stress and life stress that I just mentioned. So why work resilience is so important? That is because okay, let's go to the slides. Okay, cool. It because you know that we all know that because our life now is very demanding. Our work is so demanding. You have been bombarded by emails every maybe every hour. And so you have a lot of meetings for a day. You have things that you haven't get done for a day, and you have a meeting now, and you have some conversation with your colleagues. You want to have nice relationship with your manager, or supervisor, and also your colleagues. So there's a lot of things that you have to do in one day, and that makes you feel overwhelmed. And sometimes because of the workload, that you feel nonstop. So that is the major cause of work stress, and sometimes it leads to burnout, sometimes it leads to anxiety, to depression, and also to turnover. So we want to prevent that, because we know that having kind of like work stress and burnout like that could lead to a lot of things. Research has shown that every 8 in 10 workers suffer from work stress. So there are a lot, like 80% of workers, they have experiences some work stress. And like almost 40%, research recently shows that almost 40% of workers have experienced burnout, and more than 30% of workers have some kind of thoughts about quitting their jobs. So that means that there are anxiety and there are stresses among workers that maybe haven't been handled appropriately, and that's why they cause them to have depression, anxiety, and also want to get out of the job right away because they don't know what to do. In the country like Thailand, believe it or not, but we spend more than 27 billion bahts on stress related mental health, like stress related illness, meaning that, oh, I would say that 27 trillion bahts is, I'm sorry, billion bahts is accounting for around 4% of the entire healthcare budget of the country, and it increasing every year. At the global level, you can see that because WHO report all the time about workers have mental health problems, and so they just say that 12 billion working days are lost every year now because of depression and anxiety that's happened among workers. So if you calculate 12 billion working days into number, you can see that there are a lot of economically lost, also emotionally lost, also mentally lost. There are a lot of things that we lost every single years because of mental illness. And if we can prevent that to happen, then we're going to gain a lot. Especially, we're going to gain more well-being into, better well-being in among workers. So that's what we want to gain back, to make people feel happier at work. And how to do that? So let's focus a lot. I mean, in this discussion, we're going to focus on mindfulness because usually corporate or organizations tend to have some kind of interventions or programs to
Okay.
prevent. Yep,
Uh-huh. Okay, Dr. Gift, please, could we go back to the previous slide? When you mentioned
yes,
about the work stress related, like
yep.
related medical bills, it is very
Mhm.
interesting. Could you give me some example of the symptoms, or which signs or symptoms that we define that it is the stress related medical bills?
Okay, so we would say that, so most of the time when people get stressed from work or
Mhm.
from life, it could show in their physically, like physical body. Like for example, they have headache, or they have stomach ache, or they cannot sleep very well. They cannot eat very well. They do not want to talk with anyone, and when they have some kind of symptoms or something like that going on in their mind, they cannot stop by themselves. And so they know that they have some stress. And when they know that they have some stress, they cannot perform very well and they're not happy with themselves, because usually they can work just fine. But then one day it dropped. So no one is happy. So they seek for some therapy or they seek some help. Most of the time they go to the doctor and ask them, how can I sleep during the night? Because when I cannot sleep, I cannot work. But when I have to sleep, I am so afraid I cannot get into sleep. I cannot stop my mind to think about that. Thing keep going on and going on, and I cannot talk to my colleague because anytime that I talk, we still, we're gonna go to argument and we're gonna fight all the time like that, and then here they want to stop talking with anyone, and sometimes because of the workload, this is too much. They cannot control it. Work-life balance is just out of order. Everything is just broken. So people tend to stay quiet, do nothing, feel hopeless, feel helplessness, and then they become more negative in terms of emotions, in terms of thoughts. Then they need to seek help. They seek help from specialty people with special in mental kind of thing. Go to doctor, go to see psychologist, and those gonna appear in kind of medication or therapy that they need. And so a lot of bills that coming up because of those work stress that related of the illness that they need to be treated. The good thing is that they go to seek help from professional, which is good. But anyway, that's going to increase the healthcare budget for sure, because we need to spend some money on to treat people in terms of mental health. That's how it happens in corporates nowadays.
Well, quite clear because I feel like a lot of there are a lot of my colleagues who are suffering this, like sometimes they say that they have a severe headache or something, hmm and they have to go to see a doctor, which is very clear.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And interestingly, Kun Van, most of the time when we have headache, we can take paracetamol and it could help, right? Or maybe just go to have a nap, take a nap for a couple of hours, and when you wake up, you should feel better. But if you have mental health, it's not going to help. So if the
Mm,
headache will stay with you, and sometime you go to have a checkup, and the doctor said there's nothing in your head, your brain is just fine, but you still have some headache, you still feel dizzy,
mm,
you still feel low energy. So those could be because of your mental health is, you know, you have some problems with those rather than your physical body. But yeah, something's going on inside yourself.
mm. Okay,
Mm.
thank you. It's quite clear,
Mhm.
and I find myself that sometimes, some nights it's hard to sleep. Hmm Maybe it's because of the anxiety.
Yes, because sometimes you cannot shut yourself down. You just keep thinking about things because you worry about something tomorrow, what's going to happen, oh, I'm so not prepared for tomorrow, something like that. And so that's why we talk about mindfulness today, because just be present and do not think about the past or do not over worried about tomorrow a lot. Just stay with the present. So that's going to help you to get into sleep easier.
Wow. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So please go on because I'm very excited now to see this
Okay.
kind
So
of too. Yeah.
yeah. And so what I mean, everyone can see, um, like Kun Van, you are an executive, you are running a company, so you can see that work stress can have some kind of like negative impacts on any corporates or any organization, because usually, I mean, if your workers have some kind of like work stress, and that could lead to life stress, or what life stress that could lead to work stress. I mean, it's interchangeably, anything can cause anything to happen. And so when it happens, workers or employees tend to have lower productivity. They are not creative anymore, they do not want to work, their performance is lower, and they do not want to go work anymore, they just want to just stay home. Absenteeism is increasing, and almost and so is the turnover rate. Um, and more likely, people with work stress tend to have more accidents at workplace, more mistakes, and more incidents that you do not expect to see at workplace. And lastly, those can cause a lot of economically cost, financial loss, something at the corporate and organizational level. And for some corporates that have insurance for employers to cover kind of like a benefit or package for mental health illness, those going to be increased as well because of the work stress that happen or that's going on. And so to be able to prevent those things to happen, those negative impacts to happen, our companies or organizations need to have something installed in their place to prevent work stress. Maybe if you don't, if you cannot prevent work stress to happen, maybe you have something that can handle stress, that for workers to handle stress better or cope with stress better by their own. And also, uh, but mostly I believe a lot of companies have it in place. Like for example, Google has a more flexible time for their employees, right? They can choose when to work, where to work, um, anytime, anywhere. Just finish your project and then you'll be fine. So they tend to be more flexible in terms of work hour. And also, they try to design an office to be like a cafe or like home. So to make employees feel more relaxing. But anyway, those are just like environmentally change. But one thing that we can also do to help prevent all kind of like work stress and life stress is to go inside of the individual one, or I mean of people or of employees. So not just only the outer experiences that has to be changed, but we think that going into the inner experience of the workers would also be helpful to help them as well. I mean, do them together at the same time. So that's why we are talking about mindfulness today, because a lot of research, like a bunch of them, shows that mindful working practice or practicing mindfulness in workplace can help people feel more enjoyable and also feel more like they want to work more. So they perform better and the productivity is increasing after they perform, like they try to practice mindfulness. So mindfulness could I mean, the research consistently shows the effective in helping people to work better and be happier at the workplace. So a lot of time I got asked what actually mindfulness is. So I would say the definition of mindfulness can be in a different language, and I mean, so many languages can be used to explain what mindfulness is. But the common ground is that to be aware of the present moment that you are without judging, without overthinking about things. So just be at the present and know what happens, what's going on in in yourself, inside yourself, what your thoughts, what your feelings, and also understand the surrounding, what happens, what's going on, the way they are, instead of judging or instead of thinking by using your thought, just perceive it as they are. So be at the present. That's the key and like the heart of mindfulness. I would say that's the like common ground of the definition of that. But if it doesn't come clear to you, please feel free to ask. I'd be happy to, um, you know, discuss this with you because there could be a lot of meaning that people are talking about mindfulness, especially in different cultures that might be in the different phases. So it would be interesting to talk about that. Um, why mindfulness is very kind of like popular now. Its popularity is increasing because of the research. I think in Asian culture, mindfulness has been here for like a long, long time. In Thai people know misati is mindfulness. We know that, and we can do samadhi or do some meditation, and then mindful we so when you meditation, that means that we practice mindfulness. So in Asian culture, like Thai culture, we know that it's still instilled in our culture for a long, long time, but not everyone actually practicing it. And I would say like most people who practice it and then find that it is very helpful are those people who suffer from something in their life. And if people stay in the routine, if people do not run into any problems or run into any troubles that they cannot fix by themselves, maybe they do not know what mindfulness is. But when people run into problems, likely that they try to come back to the root of trying to practice mindfulness. And a lot of them found that they are very helpful. In the Western culture, there are a lot of people like the spotlight now is on mindfulness. You can see from any kind of like websites or bloggers, a lot of people in the field of mental health. They try to understand this and try to tell people that this one is so effective in treating work stress and life stress. So give it a try. That's what they say. So that's why we need to talk about mindfulness for now. Um, and research shows that mindfulness helps people to be at the present. And so when you are be at the present, you are not going to um, react the way that could destroy yourself. The thing that you thought, but try to be at the present, know what you are, know what you're feeling, know your thoughts, know your surrounding very well. So it works just like to understand how mindfulness works. um, we need to talk a little bit about neuroscience, just like a little bit. Um, so this slide, you can see from the slide now that the, this is about autonomic nervous system. So people have this system, and this system it's involuntary, so you cannot control this. That's how it called autonomic nervous system. So this system has two subsystems, and how mindfulness work is this one. So the first system is called uh, sympathetic nervous system. So we call it SNS. And the other one is parasympathetic nervous system. So these two work hand in hand, these two systems, but they worked in the opposite way of each other. When people are in stressful situation, or they have stress, or they are in danger, sympathetic nervous system would be activated, and so your body will be respond in a way that you are in a situation of fight or run, which means that your body will be changed. For example, your heart rate will increase, and your airflow is become bigger because you need more oxygen into your brain, so you become more alert. And also your fight or run hormone is going to be released from your liver. They call it adrenaline. And so your muscle has more power than before. You are ready to fight or to run. You are ready to move. So that situation of the system called sympathetic nervous system, when they're activated, we usually call it you are in the mode of survival. So you try to be surviving in harmful situations, in stressful situations. And in the sense that you are alert, you are stimulated all the time. Your body is very tense. So it's just like you are in a stressful situation. And what mindfulness would do is to come into this. So you would imagine that because SNS is the system to activate your body to become tense, to become ready for any stress. Then the other one, the other system called parasympathetic nervous system, this would do the opposite way of the first system, the SNS one. Parasympathetic will deactivate the parasympathetic nervous system. So your body from survival mode after the situation is over, your body will be back to the normal state. So your heart rate will be decreasing. Your blood flow will be just go back to normal, to your digestive system, to your reproductive system, and your hormone will become balanced in your body. And that means that you are in a normal state or relaxing states of your mind. So now you might be able to guess how mindfulness would work. Mindfulness could come to stop the sympathetic nervous system. So even if you are in a stressful situation, you have stress, but if you practice mindfulness, it could bring your body back to the relaxing state instead of surviving state. So in that sense, your body will not be tensed. So your body will be relaxing, even if you are among very stressful situation or dangerous situations. But you will be able to manage your body well when your heart rate it's normal, when your breath is not fast, it's just normal. Then you will be able to think clearer. You will be able to manage your emotion better. And that's how mindfulness is working, to just like stop the process of overthinking, too emotional, cannot think of something but try to fight or try to run, and no reason, no rationale. So this mindfulness will bring you back to the relaxing state of the mind, and you will become less stressed. That's how that's how mindfulness would work in your body. I mean, in terms of neuroscience. Um, if you have any question, feel free to ask. Okay, I'm gonna go next to when we know or we learn how mindfulness would work, people would want to know that then how to practice mindfulness, because it seems like mindfulness is very effective at treating work stress or life stress, and eventually it could prevent burnouts. Eventually it could prevent people from quitting their jobs. So how to get, how to be in a state of mindfulness, I would say. So to be in a state of mindfulness, I would suggest this to practice yourself to become more mindful people. First thing, I got this from research from John Kabat-Zinn, who is the advocates to the field of mindfulness. He's been doing research in the field for more than 2 decades, and he wrote a lot of books about mindfulness. So he said that there are nine major attitudes for mindfulness. So, mindful attitudes that people need to practice every day to finally can come into mindfulness states or mindful state. I would I didn't say I would not cover all attitudes. You can find it somewhere in the website or somewhere, but I will highlight just only 4 attitudes that I think those are important, and then you can practice easily in a day-to-day basis. So the first one is about non-judging. The second one is patience, beginner minds, and the last one is to letting go and be. You might be able to understand from those kind of label of the attitudes what they are. But let's jump into the first one. And please feel free to discuss with me if you have something else in your mind, or you feel like, oh, you have experienced this before. Please feel free to share. So the first one is non-judgmental. So what is that non-judgmental? Put it simply, so it's just for you to stop judging your own judgments, meaning that stop thinking about yourself as something. Like when you practice, for example, when you practice meditation, and you think, oh, I'm not able to do this. I would not be able to do this. This is so boring. I cannot stop thinking of something else like that. So you are judging yourself. So stop judging your judgment. Stop judging yourself. Just let it be, like as the present, what it is. Just let it be. You, John said that you are an impartial witness to your own experiences. And so um, just let yourself enjoy the moment of the present. Do not judge your own experiences. I can't do this. This is boring. This is not going to work. When you judgment, it is, you can judge. Sometimes people cannot avoid judging. It's just like instant. it's it's just something that happened immediately when you learn something or when you heard of something. It just can't help that people judge something, because it's just like a nature kind of instinct of it's not an instinct, okay, but it's kind of nature that we learn to live in this world, to try to judge or evaluate something. And so to be mindful, you need to be able to recognize yourself that you are doing something like judgment, or you are judging something. And if you recognize it, you know that you can stop doing that. But if you cannot recognize that you are judging something, then you will not be able to stop it. And so, to be mindful, you need to understand that you do not need to judge your own thought, okay? And you don't need to feel bad of your thoughts about yourself. even if they're negative, even if they are like not um, helping anyone. So, but just do not judge yourself of having those kind of like thoughts or judgment. And if you know that you are judging something, then you can practice to be mindful, practice to be non-judging, because you are recognizing your own you yourself now that you're judging something. And if you know that that you are judging something, you can practice non-judging, and that attitude can help people. I mean, research shows that they can help people find an effective way to deal with stress, because mostly when we got stress, we got work stress, it comes from the way that we see the world as we want it to be, as we judge it to be, but not how they really are, or how they actually present at the moment. But we use our thought to judge it the way that we want to interpret the way it is. So it's not the real thing, but it's your thought that make yourself get into like work stress or life stress. And so the first attitude to try is to try not to judge your own judgment. Like stop, try to stop it. Try to recognize that, oh, I am starting it right now. I'm thinking that I cannot do this. So I'm thinking that I cannot. It's just too hard for me. This is not for me. He's not gonna like me. Those are your judgment. So recognize it and know that they are just normal things that happen. And when you recognize it, you know it, and then you try to practice of non-judging, and then that's gonna help you reduce stress. And the hopefully that you can see how to practice this one. But if it doesn't if you do not feel like it's concrete, then I'm just feel free to share. Okay. um the other attitude is about patience. So basically, be patient. I mean, having attitude of patience, to be mindful, is to understand and to accept things the way they are. Like be patient with yourself, and also have patience on somebody else as well. So for yourself, do not rush yourself to do something or to be something, to be able to do something as you want, or rush somebody else to be or to do something that you want to. um, this when empathy or understanding and accepting will come into play. Because if you understand the things as they really are, if you understand people as they really are, understand yourself as they really are, you have more patience on yourself and on other people. And that's gonna build relationships, that's gonna build, you know, connections, and also communities. Because understanding and accepting the way things really are would just open our mind for curiosity, open our mind for the natures of other things. So this is to train ourselves to stop like the feeling of short fuse, uh, to have more little patience on ourselves and also on others. So that is, I mean, this is so important to me, this attitude, and it doesn't come easy. It needs a lot of practice to be able to tell yourself, but that do not get caught in uh, do not get caught up into our mind something that we don't want to think about, but we keep thinking about that. So it just have to, you have to be like, patient. Things will be unfold in its own way. That's what John keeps telling people. So sometimes if we rush into something, it doesn't help because we cannot rush. He has analogy of like a butterfly. Sometimes you see that when a child want to see a butterfly, you they will want to see a butterfly. So sometimes they want to break the crystal so they can rush the speed. Maybe they think that they can rush this or speed up the process so they can see a beautiful butterfly. But even if the child will break up the crystal, doesn't mean that they could see a beautiful butterfly because the process cannot be rushed. And so thing will be, unfolded its own way, meaning your mind, meaning other people's mind as well. So you need to reduce expectation on yourself and somebody else because they are not real and they are not at the present. It's just your own mind. So stay at the present, not the past, not the future, and not with your judgment, but stay with you know what the things that they really are. So bringing that attitude of patience into every moment when you practice mindfulness, and then you will see the differences. Um, and the third, let's go to the third one. The third one is the attitude of the beginner's mind. So this is kind of like having a fresh pair of eyes to see things in the world. So if you believe that, so usually people do things repeatedly every day. So for example, if you go into, if you're gonna have a meeting, and you think that, okay, in this meeting, every time we have this meeting, there is someone always attacking me for doing something wrong or for doing something not perfect. And if you keep thinking about that again and again and again, it will not go anywhere and it will increase stress because your mind tend to do the same, like tend to repeat the same circuit, the same connection that you experience 1 day, 2 day, 3 days. So you do the same, and the same circle happen again and again and again. And so sometimes when same circle happen, it's like um, you will see things from your past experiences rather than how they really are at the moment, at the present. And so John said that we need to take perspective of the beginner's mind. So see things as they are, like you see it for the first time, and so they will see it in a different angle from what you have seen before, and you might see it differently and interpret it differently and stay with the present, with what you are, what you sense, and what you thought, what is your thinking about that when you stop using the past experience to judge things in the present, and then you will see the differences. And the last one that I would talk about is the attitude of letting go and be. So this one is just like for the modern world is to move on, and how to move on from some kind of like thought that we already have or we keep thinking every day. So in our personal life, usually we often hold on into some things, into people, into stories, into events, into memories all the time, and sometimes those do not do not are not essential for us, are not necessary for us, are not related to us anymore. And so like for example, you like you are stuck with the past memory, some good memory in the past. Oh, I used to be someone my manager loved very much, but then later he changed it. Now my manager doesn't like me anymore. Whatever I do, always wrong. I cannot talk to him. He doesn't allow me to talk. He doesn't listen to me anymore. And then you're just stuck with the past experiences of that. And then you feel sad and you feel stressed and you feel depressed. And so that's what John said that are the attitude that you need to change. If you practice mindfulness, you need to let go of the thing in the past. Like when you do breathing exercise, you need to let go of the breath to be able to inhale a new breath into your lung. So let go of the past thing, the past experience, and enjoy the present moment. What the present moment be, um, enjoy it. So the attitude of letting go can lead to greater peace because you're gonna feel more accepting and you're going to feel more understanding of things as they really are. People tend to have like better productivity and better collaboration because people do not attach to the past experience anymore, or people do not think about the bad days that they had before, bad experience they had before, bad relationship they had before. They do not use that to judge whatever they are in the present. And so to focus on the present moment and work together with people, or with anyone that you are with your colleagues, you can achieve your goals in the way because you not use the past experience to um, deal with the things that you are in the present. And so those are the attitude of letting go. So those are four attitudes that I would like to talk about to be able to, for you to practice mindfulness in workplace. And to put it more concrete, I have some tips to share with you. So everyone knows that to be mindful is to be able to control yourself better. And the thing that you can control yourself better, especially control yourself in the present, like you know what you are doing in the present, you know your thoughts, you know your feeling in the present. It's to focus on your breath, because your breath is the present. You exhale, you inhale, in breathe, out breathe. Those are in the present and the moment. And that's why breathing is a symbol of being in the present, is the symbol of mindfulness. You do not need to do any kind of meditation, like you need to sit on a mat in a beautiful waterfall in a green scenery. No, you don't need that kind of like beautiful landscape to be able to do to practice mindfulness. You can just sit anywhere, maybe on your chair, in front of your computer at workplace. You can do that. You can start doing breathing exercise. So focusing on your breathe. Um, focusing on breathing. Um, Inhale, hold on, exhale, like for a few seconds. Inhale for a few seconds, hold on for a few seconds, and then exhale for a few seconds. It's it sounds easy, isn't it? But usually it's not executed easily as it sounds. Sometimes people cannot stop wondering because people. Research has shown that people's mind keeps wandering for like 47% of the time, meaning that in a day when you're doing something, your mind is not with you on the same thing, on the thing that you are doing, but they're wandering something somewhere else. And so it's just so hard for people to pay attention, to have more focus on the thing that they are doing, because it's just like a nature of people of human being to have mind wandering. There are benefits for mind wandering because it's increased creativity, and sometimes it's increased some kind of like problem solving skills or something. But in terms of practicing mindfulness, we need to pay more attention and be less of mind wandering. So you need to get back to yourself, and practice mindfulness is to try to tell yourself that, okay, I am breathing, I am focusing on my breath. But if your mind keeps wandering, you need to get your mind back to your breath, and as often as you can. So try to know yourself fast, quickly. When you are with your breath, that's good. But when your mind is starting wandering, so know yourself fast and then get back to your breath as fast as you can. This needs a lot of practice, but as you practice, you will get better, and you will see different results from practicing breathing exercise. And tricks number two, I would say, you can do it as easy as it sounds. So if you cannot focus on your breath, I'm sorry, if you cannot focus on breathing or your breath, it's just so hard because I don't know how to do like belly breathing or something. So you can focus on, like, you can start on focusing on something on your desk, maybe something that you can grasp easily, on a pen, a pencil, your mouse, or your anything on your desk. So just grab one thing and then look at it carefully. Look for more detail that you haven't ever noticed before, and feel it. How do you feel? It's bumpy, it's hard, it's glossy, it's very matte. What color is it? What alphabets or what letters are there? What they wrote? What written on that? Or what is the function of that? I have been this has been here for a long time. What I do, so try to think about that. That's object in details, and keep thinking about that object and nothing else. Nothing else. Keep thinking about object and nothing else. So to that is to practice your focus, to pay attention to one thing at a time and stop wondering. So it's the same thing as breathing exercise, but now change into some object that you have never paid attention to before, not into your interest anymore, but now pay attention to that one. So you practice mindfulness in that case, and know yourself that if you have mind wandering, get yourself back to that object as fast as you can, so that you practice mindfulness and you see differences after you can practice it again and again. Trick number three, it's called stop. So this is, you can find this trick everywhere in the internet, and it works beautifully. In terms of practicing mindfulness. So basically, you just do stop. Means like you stop, thinking about something else. Like stop for a moment of what you're doing. Stop thinking, like stop overthinking of the past, of the future. Just be at the present. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? And how do you sense? Maybe if you cannot focus on your thought because it's so hard, just tell yourself what you sense. What do you sense for right there, right now? Do you smell something? You see light? Do you hear something? What it feels like to sit on a chair? It's comfortable, it's warm, it's cold. So focus on the sensation that you are experiencing right there, right now, for for the moment, for the present. So for a moment, just stop thinking about something else, but focus on yourself for a moment, and then when you can focus on your moment, you can take your mind into whatever you are feeling, whatever you are thinking, then you are starting to take a breath. Take a breath, like I told you before in the breathing exercise. So you can start breathing like just a normal pace of yours. So start breathing. Do not try to breathe longer or shorter than you usually are. Just keep focusing on your breath. That's it, the key. So try to focus on your breath. Later, you focus on the moment that you are feeling, right? And then when your mind stop at there, you're now focusing on your breath. Take a breath and then focusing on your breath. Later, try to be open. That's O, S, T, and then O. O is to observe and be curious about things that you have seen in the future, in the surrounding areas of you, in your environment, like immediate environment that you are seeing. So, for example, if you are like replying an email, and you feel like, okay, this is too much stress, I cannot do this, I have a lot of things to waiting for me to get done, and I haven't done that, those a lot of things, so you feel overwhelmed. Just stop yourself for a moment. I would say just 1 or 2 minutes. This is going to be done in 1 or 2 minutes, so just stop yourself for a minute, focusing on your feeling, your thought, and then maybe how you sit on your chair, what your hands are doing, what your feet are feeling, and what your back is feeling. Think about that. Focus on focusing on that, and then take a breath, focusing on your breath, on your breathing, and later, when you can breathe in a regular breathing, you are not, like nervous, or you do not breathe too fast or too slow, then you're going to focus on your surrounding. So try to observe what happens in your environment. You see someone, you see something. Do you and be curious about things that you are thinking about. So you let your mind think about something in your surrounding, in your environment, immediate environment. Let yourself think of something. So be curious and open, and then later you proceed yourself in the activity that you are doing, like you are writing an email. Keep writing an email, but you will feel yourself different from before you try to do this technique, because now you are more focused and stay on the present, than when you start doing this. So try it and you're going to see differences. And the last one is about to actually, I'm sorry, that's the last one. So um, I would say that my talk for today is just like that, okay? And so this is now going to be a question and answer session. So if you have any question, please pop up. I am happy to take all questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Shakati. It is very, very useful for me. But I have some questions. Since it's not so sexy, I mean, for a lot of people that when we talk about mindfulness, it is not a kind of sexy approach. Comparing when we get stressed, we go out for drinking or something, or for party. It is more like more interesting, you know. So how do I convince myself to keep practicing mindfulness every day? Because I know it's very useful, but it's hard for me to keep
Um,
discipline.
yep. It's hard to many other people as well. Um, yes. So to keep being, paying attention, because paying attention is so hard. Sometimes when we talk to
Mm,
one, like to a friend, something like we talk to a friend, but our mind tend to be somewhere else. So that means that we do not pay attention to the person that we are talking. But it's just normal. It happens all the time, and that is you see the result of that. So maybe relationship is not in a way that we might want, or maybe you talk to someone and then you feel like you're not understand each other very well, why you argue all the time like that. And if you see that, you can you try to notice yourself with what's going on, what's the problem of talking to other people, why no one understand me, why I keep arguing with people, or why I'm not productive today, why I'm not performing very well today. And if you see those problems, you need to explore yourself what happened and what's going on. And if you do not try to explore yourself, things will not be changed and you will not solve all the problems if you just ignore it and then, do something else. So I would say that to be able to practice mindfulness, you need to come back to your inner experiences first. So, what's going on in me? Why I have a lot of problems connected to people? Why I have a lot of problems trying to be productive, but I keep procrastinating all the time? So, get inside yourself. What's going on in you? Do you have stress? Are you not happy with your work? Are you not happy with your managers, your colleagues? Talk to yourself what's going on inside. And if you cannot focus on anything and you think that is too much, I have so much stress, I am so depressed because I cannot do anything, it's not under my control, then you need to practice mindfulness and you see things clearly from inside. And to convince yourself to do that, you just need 1 or 2 minutes to practice at a time. So if you think that 1 minute is just so fast, I cannot do anything. So think about that in a way. So 1 minute is so fast. So if you can practice mindfulness in 1 minute every day at the beginning, that that would be enough. You can change something from that. You can change yourself because now you can do it just for 1 minute. Be mindful for 1 minute. Stay with yourself and not doing something else. And if you can challenge yourself to do 1 minute, then you can challenge yourself more in a better way. And you will see differences if you keep practicing. But if you do not do it continually, you won't see anything. So you need to challenge is with the attitude of understanding, accepting, and also have more patience on yourself. But I would say that in practice, you do not need to do meditation like a full course. You can do
mm,
something short and brief to fit into your lifestyle. So find some
mm,
way to fit yourself into your lifestyle, and see you will see changes.
mm,
Hmm.
mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. It's clear that maybe I have to like spend maybe 1 minute a day to practice
Yes,
mindfulness.
yes,
Okay. I
yes.
have another
Exhale and
question. Uh-huh.
yep.
I find that a lot of people are suffering from like insomnia, or they find themselves hard to sleep at night. Can you give me some example to practice this mindfulness when they find themselves that they cannot sleep at night?
Yeah, that's a good question, Kunwan. Um, I have a bunch of cases that have problems with sleeping, and they do not want to take like sleeping pills or any medication to help their sleep because they want to sleep naturally by themselves. And mostly people who used to sleep well before, but then later they changed it to becoming not able to sleep by themselves. Usually they have some stress or something, some thoughts that keeps going on in their mind that they cannot stop by themselves.
Mm,
Yes. So in that case, using practicing mindfulness could help for sure, because you know that sleeping is about the brainwave, and
mm,
yeah, and so if you want to change your brainwave, I mean, um, practically you cannot change your brainwave as you like, right? Because if you can change it, you can change from your beta alpha, beta, like very active brainwave to the night sleeping time, brainwave to delta, and then you can have deep sleep. You cannot do that. So usually I would say that you can practice mindfulness, because if you can focus on one thing at a time, and especially like you can just lying down and then focusing on your breath again and again, your brainwave will become relaxing, more
mm,
relaxing, and then it will eventually comes to the states of like very very similar to when you have like night sleep. Maybe
mm,
you still have some dreams on that when you do some meditation. I mean, you need a lot of practice to be able to go to that state, but
mm,
eventually if you keep practicing mindfulness, you're going to find yourself that you are able to get a better sleep than before, because you can focus at one thing at a time, and that means that you can shut down all other stories, all other things that are not relevant to what you are doing at the present. And if you can just destroy, like, I mean, just get rid of all irrelevant things, something that you do not want to think about, but it just keep coming. If you can shut it down by focusing on only just your breath, you will be able to sleep better. Hmm.
mm. So keep practicing. Mindfulness is the key, because 1 minute a day might not be enough for like coping this kind of issue, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And I see that
Okay.
some comments.
There are some
Yeah.
questions. Okay, I will read
Mhm.
from Kanchit maybe. How do you avoid letting your biases cloud your judgment of others? Mhm.
That is a good question. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name correctly.
Kanchit
Kunjit or
maybe.
something. Kun Kanjit, okay. um, yes, so if you know yourself, the good side is that maybe it's like you know yourself now that you are putting your bias onto somebody else. So if you know yourself that you are doing that, that's a good sign. If you know, I mean, you recognize your own thought, you recognize your own
Mm,
bias, so you acknowledge that, and we acknowledge it, and you know that it's going on, then you know that you put some things on your opinions on the other already. And as John said that, you know, try to be non-judgmental on your judgment and also other people as well. So try to focus on just only the present, not in the past, not in the future. So if you know yourself that you have bias on other, that maybe you use your past experience on somebody. And if you know that, then you need to stop the cycle. You know that, okay, now I'm judging her because of the past experience that she's doing something wrong before. So I use that past experience to judge her for now or her future performance. And that is your bias. So if you are aware of that, that means that you can get rid of that as well, Kuntanchit. Is that a problem that you have? Like you use past experience on somebody to judge the performance of somebody at the present. Are you having that kind of problem? Please feel free to share. Am I answering the question?
Okay. Hmm. Okay.
Yes.
There is another question from Kuntanyani. How can technology such as apps or digital reminders be effectively used to support the development of mindful habits in our daily lives? Mm,
Yeah, such a good
like some
question.
apps,
I love this.
digital
Thank you, Tanya.
device.
Yes. Yeah, actually, I did have that. So that's what I said before in my talk. I was talking about the last tip for practicing mindfulness, and I forgot it. I took it out because the last thing I was talking about the application that people use a lot for practicing mindfulness, and all of you might have heard of the like Headspace. Maybe it's very
Mm,
famous. Like practicing mindfulness. Yes, those application could be very helpful. I mean, I am not stick to sitting on a mat in front of just like in a natural setting. You can do. I mean, you can practice mindfulness anywhere. Find anything that fit into your lifestyle, and then you do the mindfulness. For example, to the application like Head Start or I don't remember other thing. There's a lot of thing like what's that? Being mindful or something. A lot of things they have a variety of features that could help you uh, be more I mean, pay more attention to the present. And in kind of like in many fish, I mean, a variety of features that you can fit into your lifestyle. I would say they're good. I mean, if you see the result that you can pay more attention to one thing at a time, to the present, and you can just cutting things that are irrelevant out, something that you don't want to think about, and you can do it at one time. Like for example, if you are on an app or maybe just on the Apple Watch have some kind of like a widget or something that you can keep tracks of your pulse, your heart rates or heartbeats. I mean, if you can control your heartbeats from very fast in some situation, like you have stress and your heart beats very fast, and you can control it into the way that you can slow it down, that means that it works for you. Because if you slow down your heart rates, your body will not be tense anymore. Your body will not be in a fight or flight situation anymore. It's going to be relaxing. So that works for you. That works just beautifully. So anything that could focus you on the moment, improve your awareness of the present without your judgment on other things by using your opinions on something that is not in the present, that all would work, I would say. Hmm.
okay. I also have one device. It is called Muse. It is a head devices to track our brainwave while we do some meditation. Um, More birds means you be
Yeah.
more relaxed. Like go your brainwave go down deeper. So it is quite expensive, but it's very useful and it's good devices if you have like if but I'm sure that there are some devices like this in the market. You can find if you are interested in like tracking your effectiveness of mindfulness. Mhm. Yes. Okay. So
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I heard it's amazing. Advanced device. Um, because it can track down your brain, like
Mhm.
electronic circuits in your brain, right? And they're gonna
Yes.
report something from what you are thinking, like how
Mhm.
you. Yeah, I heard that it's amazing. I haven't tried myself. Maybe I have to try one day because I heard that it's very effective in treating stress.
Mhm. Okay.
Hmm.
Can she say that? Thank you. Thank you. Your answer techniques are awesome. Okay.
Yeah, very welcome. Happy to help. And one last thing I would just note here, actually you can do some kind of like simple thing. For example, write a journal or a diary for yourself. So, like for example, at the end of the day, every day, you sit down quietly um, in the place that you feel comfortable and write the things that you want to write down, you want to remember, and you want to read it later. Write it down on a paper, on a notebook, or a diary book, anything. Write down and make a log of yourself for a day. It's kind of like you summarizing your life for a day, and then you can review yourself at the same time. So if you
Mhm.
have just like 1 or 2 minutes, you don't need to have like an hour to write everything that you find in a day. Just only something that you want to make a note about, and you can be with yourself for just 1 or 2 minutes in a day. That's enough. And when you write a journal, try to focus on a journal and not something else. And so if you can be that focused, that's going to empower your mind. Mhm.
Okay. Could you give me some example what to write on the in the journal? Like I will
You can write a
experience of
poem,
life.
a song you like. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Or what you got in a day. Like today, I fight with my manager, and what you feel, and I feel so depressed. I feel something. I feel so bad today. I don't know what to do
Mm.
in tomorrow. Anything. Write a journal about yourself, and then you can see your emotions. You can see your thoughts, and be at the present. Do not think of something else when you write a journal. Think of the situations or the events that you want to write down. So one thing that you are doing is to ventilate. You talk to someone already, but you talk to the journal. No one knows about that, but you have drained it out. You do not keep it with yourself. You have drained it out somewhere, which is good. Drain it out somewhere. You're gonna feel better inside. And later you can review yourself as well, because before you're going to write into words, that means that you need to review or revisit your thought and your feeling. And those are really good, like you do a contemplation on yourself, on your inner experiences. And when you
Mm.
focus on those things, that means that you can be at the present of the moment that you are writing the journal down. That is very helpful. I always told my kids to keep doing journal because I do that myself too. Even if you have just only 2 minutes before you go to sleep, do it. Very helpful. Anything in any forms, in a paper, in a tablet, in your phone, anything. Just write down
Mm.
something every day to contemplate about things that happen into yourself. Yeah.
Mm. Right. Wow. It's very interesting and it's a good advice. Maybe tonight I will start to write my own journal. Thank you, Dr. Shakti. So one last thing, um, I would
Yeah.
like to,
It's very
if
welcome.
someone wants to um, have a counseling session with Dr. Shakti about this or about other thing that you have in your mind, so you can download our application, iStrong application. So you can find this application on App Store or Google Play, and you can find Dr. Shakti and like make an appointment to talk to her. Okay, this today. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Dr. Shakati, for sharing us very useful tips, especially on mindfulness. And I see it's so powerful too. It's very powerful for helping ourselves in managing like stress and do emotion regulation. So thank you very much today.
Mhm. Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you for the opportunity, Kuman. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Okay, for iStrong webinar, next week we gonna have another session in Thai. So please keep updating on email. Okay, for today, thank you very much, everyone, and see you next week. Bye bye. สวัสดีค่ะ
Bye bye. Thank you. สวัสดีค่ะ